Hello, and welcome to She Comes By, a show where I interrogate my friends on their sexuality. I'm your host, Alex Mannix. On this week's episode, we talk to Jenna. She's a union organizer, a musician, and a bisexual? I guess you'll see. Thanks for coming by and joining us. Well, hello, Jenna. Thank you so much for being here today. I asked folks to introduce themselves on this show. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, I'd love to. Thanks so much for having me. My name is Jenna Cunningham. I go by the name Jenna Isn't Famous for my music. And I'm a songwriter. I'm a democratic socialist. I'm a union organizer. And Woo-hoo. I'm a bisexual.
I love it. Oh my gosh. I usually ask, how did Josh find you? But how did we find each other on this podcast?
Yeah, my friend Tom, who I also met in a kind of crazy way, I had made actually like a Bi LA events group because I had felt like that was a real thing missing from the LA space. And I think he followed that account. And then I was at Village Wells bookstore, just walking around. He works there, and we bumped into each other, talking to each other, and then we kind of were like, wait, you look familiar, right? You look familiar. And we found out we had already followed each other on Instagram, which was very wacky. And then you know Tom, and he told me about your podcast, and that's how I came to be here.
Yay, that's how you came by.
Yes.
That's so wonderful. Well, and yeah, because I remember talking to him and he was like, oh, hey, there's this really cool girl, like we follow each other on Instagram. She like does these cool like bi meetups, also as a musician, just like would be a really cool guest. Actually, Village Well is kind of the birthplace of She Comes By as well. Wow. That's where I met Josh. And so Josh profiled me, and when I was in there buying a book, and he asked me if I played D&D, and I was like, yes, I do actually. And I went to their D&D night, and we started talking and came out we were both bisexual. And I work at NPR, and Josh was like, oh, I do the podcast, like would love to get coffee. And I was like, I don't do anything on the radio side, but like would love to get coffee. And by the end of that coffee, we had decided to start a podcast together. And that's the rest incredible. Is history. Village Well meeting place like is where all the bis come together.
Village Well, it just has like a honing signal where we all decide to go there and find our community.
Yeah,
and it was really
absolutely.
Great because I think we were just doing it at like random bars or something like that, and then Tom was like, we can use Village Wells as the meeting space for our next meeting, and I was like, that would be incredible. So that's what we did, and it was really fun.
Oh, that's so cool. And what's the name of the group?
We've actually been in a hiatus mostly because my organizing has shifted to socialism and unions. So I feel like this is a good catalyst, though, to get it restarted. So it is just BI Los Angeles is the account.
Oh my God, that's a good get. That's a pretty, I feel like
right?
That's, I would imagine, pretty coveted.
I know. I mean, that just speaks to the fact that it was a gap in the Los Angeles space. The bis were looking for community.
Absolutely. Well, yeah. What are you up to these days? What do you spend your time doing? I know you mentioned some music stuff, some union organizing stuff. What have you got going on?
Yeah, the last year or so has been really wild, and it finally just started calming down. I was a union organizer by day for UAW and still am, but I was also leading an electoral working group for DSA. Faiza Malik was running for city council over here on the west side, and it was really cool to be able to mobilize people, especially in an area that a lot of people had written off as like, oh, this is too conservative, there's too many NIMBYs. And we got 40% of the vote. We didn't oust the incumbent, but I still feel like it was a really great showing of community. And we built this coalition of progressives on the west side that did not exist before and is going to continue to exist. So now I have 6 p.m. onward free most days, which I did not have before. So I'm like enjoying refinding what I do for fun, making music again, actually working on a song with my friend Peter that we are going to do like the harmonies for tomorrow, actually. So hopefully that one will be out in the next month or two.
That's amazing. I actually did. I listened to your song Skinny Dipping.
Oh, yay.
It's so lovely.
Thank you
Skinny
so
Dipping.
much.
Yeah. Were you interested in labor organizing before you working for UAW, or was that something you just kind of came to?
My journey to, I guess, like organizing in general was definitely the pandemic was my political wake up call, if you will. A lot more time to see all the things that aren't working in our government. And once we were like back in society, you know, vaccinated and stuff, I started kind of doing a sample platter of volunteering. I was like, let's try going to this food kitchen. Like, let's try delivering meals. I one time took a dog from a vet after it had just gotten its like medication and took it to a foster home, and I drove up the 405 and the dog was like climbing all over and accidentally got by my feet while I was driving. So that was an experience. And there was a lot of great mutual aid efforts that I was volunteering with, but the discouraging part was I felt like this is just putting a Band-Aid on things and there's no long-term solution that we're building towards. I can't remember exactly how DSA, Democratic Socialists of America, got on my radar, but once it did, I was like, oh, this seems like building something for the long term to like actually fix what's wrong. And so I was organizing with them. I was the West Side branch coordinator in 2024, and my partner was like, you spend a lot of your free time doing this. You should maybe think about changing your day job. At the time, I worked for IHOP's advertising department, so making ads for pancakes.
Wait, yeah. I love that.
But anyway, so we had that conversation. 2 weeks later, my whole team got laid off. And I was like, I'm also an astrology girly, and I was like, it's my Saturn return. That's fine. This is meant to happen.
Oh, yes. Oof.
But so this like kind of opened this whole new door for me, and I started just applying to jobs that were more in like the either political office space or union jobs. And after a few months, it was this UAW job that had given me a chance, I think, because of the organizing skills I had built up through DSA on my resume. And it's been about a year of that, and it's incredible. It's really tough sometimes because you're trying to inspire someone else to give a shit and take action to change their workplace. That's a kind of a crazy thing to do.
It's really hard.
Have you had any of those experiences?
Yeah. So I work as a software engineer for NPR now, because I did a coding boot camp and then got this job and have worked there ever since. But then I think it was late 2020. It kind of started with like some like pay equity stuff, but me and a bunch of other engineers and like colleagues that I worked with, like kind of on the tech side of NPR, you know, we started to talk about unionizing. I think there were conversations happening. Like I kind of was like one of the ones early brought on. They were like, Alex is probably going to be down with this. And I had never really, I think like lots of people in our generation, like union power has just fallen off so much like in the past several decades. So I think I just like, I was like, that sounds cool. I don't know anything about this. Like, I don't know what a union is. I don't know what a union does. I don't know what the difference between a union and like HR is. Like, I just don't know anything.
Right.
And so, yeah, I just like learned really quick and like was one of the main like kind of like organizers, just trying to like talk to people, like see what we wanted. I think we kind of like were in that organizing phase for about a year, and then we went public and like went for recognition, and we got voluntarily recognized, which was awesome.
Oh my gosh.
And so that was like around, I think that was like 2021, maybe late 2021 we got recognized, and then we spent 3 years bargaining our first contract.
Sounds about right. Yeah.
And like that, yeah. And it was just like, again, the first, and I feel so lucky. Like we had a couple folks who had a lot of like prior union experience, like and it was really interesting because like a lot of us it was kind of like the younger cohort of people, because I mean NPR is a great place to work, but also like people work there for a very long time, and you know, for better or worse. And so, you know, there's not a lot of movement. There's not always a lot of like upward, like mobile leadership opportunities. So I feel like there was kind of this cohort of us where we're like, we have all this energy and we care so much about the work and we care so much about each other, and this shit is fucked. And like, what if we did something about it? And it just was really inspiring. And again, we had some people like me who were like really fresh into organizing, and then people who had been kind of like steeped in, you know, like who go to labor notes, who are like involved in the tech workers coalition. Like we had like some people who were clued in, and that I feel really grateful for that, because like I was just like, I don't know what the steps are. So we joined we're CWA NABIT. And it was kind of funny because we had a staff member from CWA, but I almost like never saw him because I feel like our group was so like, we were just like, no, we know what we're doing. We got what's going on.
Amazing. Like that's what we're trying to get. Yeah. To be like self-sufficient.
And my brother, he's not an organizer, but he like does like data analytics and like helps folks with van stuff for AFSCME.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
And so it's been cool to kind of see him like, again, be on the staff side of like the union stuff. And then like, we'll talk and I'll be like, oh yeah, like, you know, this is what's going on like with like my union. He's like, oh, like that kind of like maps to AFSCME here and there. I don't know. The labor movement, I think, is one of the places where I've felt the most hope. And like you said, it's because you're like, you know, not just meeting people where they're at, but it's like you're hitting home. With organizing, it can feel like, oh, I'm like trying to get people to care and give a shit about this like big idea or like these different things. But when it's like, okay, but like, it's a lot easier to make the jump about giving a shit about like pay and working conditions, and then building those larger coalitions into something like broader. And that feels really hopeful to me in a time when, yeah, like shit's fucked.
100%. Yeah. Oh my God. There's so much that I like want to say to all that. I mean, first of all, I think it's so incredible that you were able to organize your workplace. I've never had that experience myself. I've only been like, you know, the outsider, if you will. So to actually see your workplace change like that must have been so incredible. Obviously so tough probably at many points too.
And again, I would never discourage anyone from like unionizing and like but it's just like it's like it takes work after. Like I'm still, and it's like, and I'm so glad I do, and I like, but it's like it's like democracy takes consistent participation, and like unfortunately it means there's more work to do, and it's work I want to do, but it's also like, it's not just like, yeah, we have a contract and now everything's fixed forever. It's like, gotta keep it up.
100%. I mean, I always like to say that it's work either way. If you fight with your union or if you sit on the sidelines, because if you sit on the sidelines, there's going to be things that happen to you that the boss decides that you don't have any say in. And then you have to, you know, figure out what to cut out of your budget so you can afford rent, or figure out, you know, how you're going to make it to work another day because your hybrid schedule changed to fully in person or whatever it is. Yep. So there's work on either side, but which one is more empowering and is going to make you feel good about yourself?
Totally. And at the end of the day, I'd rather like be a little disappointed or a little frustrated that like, oh, like I had an organizing meeting today and like no one showed up, but I didn't send the invite out early enough in time to remind people. And it's like, I'd rather have that frustration instead of like sitting here being like, oh my God, like are my colleagues like getting paid fairly? Like it's a good reminder that it is worth it, even when it's kind of just like, no one showed up to my meeting.
Yeah, 100%. And that's why it's called organizing too. Like the amount of prep work, the amount of meetings that I have that are like the planning meeting for the planning meeting. It's like there's so much intentionality that comes with union organizing and UAW specifically that I'm very honored to be a part of. And I've seen, and sometimes it feels like a lot, but then when you don't do all those planning and prep, you see how it falls apart. And so you're like, okay, this actually was really important to do all this extra legwork so that the one meeting at the end of the week can go very well.
Totally. But yeah, I also want to ask about your music. How did you get involved in the music stuff you're doing now? Yeah,
that's something that's always been a part of me. My parents had a piano in the house, so was always like slamming away at it until one day was writing songs that actually had a melody and whatnot. And I think that was just always the way that I had to express myself and express my emotions.
That's so beautiful. What are you? Are there any projects you're working on now that you're excited about?
Yeah, so there's 2 songs that I'm working on right now with my friend and producer, Peter. One is more of like an upbeat, confident pop song called Fumble the Bag. And then there's another one that is a bit more like political with a revolutionary feel to it. So kind of blending my two worlds. So I'm excited for both of them. We're going to have a fun pop girl summer, and then we're going to have an end of summer revolutionary fall.
Oh my gosh. Oh, I love that. Well, I feel like we've done enough warm up, and now it's time for the real question that I ask everyone on the show.
Yes.
So Jenna, are you bisexual? Why or why not?
Yes, I am bisexual. I don't know how to answer why necessarily. I mean, because women are beautiful and attractive, and some men are attractive too.
What a beautiful answer. And how could it be any more complicated than that?
Right? It's just like that. That's all she wrote.
What does bisexuality mean to you?
I mean, the freedom to be able to just be attracted to or fall for whoever feels right, and to have that flexibility isn't the right word, but it just means being attracted to more than one gender and feeling the freedom around it.
Yeah, it's beautiful. What words do you use to describe your sexuality?
I do use bi. Yeah, that always has felt right to me. I know there's other ones like pan that I have thought about, but for some reason bi is just the one that I'm like, yeah, that feels like what my identity is.
Yeah, totally. I'll say bi, I'll say queer. There's so many different umbrella terms, and it's so interesting to hear kind of like, yeah, like what stands out to people and feels, comfortable, even if like there are like similar definitions, or it's always also interesting to hear like, oh, like, someone will say, actually, like, I really don't identify with that like word, and like, here's why. So it's always interesting to hear.
Yeah. I think like with queer and gay, I think I use those for myself as well, but maybe more so when I am including myself in a group of other like queer people or gay people. And I think that feels right in those contexts. But usually when I'm speaking on an individual level, it's bi.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, when did you realize you weren't straight?
That's a great question. I feel like, I mean, growing up, there's like some key, fictional characters that made me feel some type of way. We got Mindy from Drake and Josh.
Oh my god. Oh my gosh, that's such a good one.
That's a deep cut, right?
Yeah,
I think my
I was
other
gonna
two
say.
are more basic, but
I mean, but really good. And I was just like, oh my, you're so right.
there's something, I feel like there's a common thread between these women, because it's also Shigo from Kim Possible and Megara from Hercules. So I feel like I like women that like are a little mean to me.
I'm with you. Yep.
But the guys I like are like, I want you to like be really sweet. So I don't know what that says about me, but that's my taste in men versus women.
No, I feel pretty similar. Like, I am a person who flirts by bullying, and I know that does not jive with some people. I think like it's, I think I do it more with men than I do with women.
I fully relate to that, and I feel like that's why I found it so challenging to flirt with women, because I also kind of like to flirt by like a little bit like teasing, a little bullying, some banter. But with women, I was like, I can't be mean to this gorgeous woman in front of me. And so I didn't know what to do. And that was always a challenge during my single days.
Yeah, I think there's a part of me that's just like, oh, it's embarrassing. Like, it's embarrassing that I like this, but like, I can't let them know that I like them.
Right.
Like, if I let them know that I like them,
it's like I have to be vulnerable, and like then it's like a weakness because they might not reciprocate, and so that I'm in a weak spot with this person.
Exactly. And so it's just like, I like this guy, but like I'm kind of like I have to keep you at an arm's length. And it's like, okay, if you're a girl, I have to fawn over you.
Yeah.
To like hide the fact. Like, it's just like, oh my gosh, you're so gorgeous and so pretty, and but it's like, if I take it to that next level, like, that's like allowed in a way that like, okay, you're not going to take it, like, you're not going to take me seriously. I don't know. I also have internalized femphobia. That's like something that like my like queer sapphic friends have been like, I think you are afraid of women. And I think you like
women are scary. They're like, they're so powerful.
Yeah, it's not even that though. I think like it is like internalized. I think it's internalized homophobia of like, well, I have long hair,
Oh.
and there has to be like it. I've moved past the gender, but I've applied gender onto it, where it's like, well, there has
Oh,
to be a
interesting.
short hair and a long hair, or there has to be
Oh,
like,
interesting.
and like there has to be like a more masc and a more femme, and it's like, well,
Okay.
I'm kind of femme, so another femme wouldn't like me, because why? Like, or I think it's like I sometimes worry like I'm not attractive to the people that I'm attracted to, if that makes
So
sense.
can I ask, are you typically attracted to femme or mask women, or is it a combination of both?
I think it's a combo. It's kind of hard because I took like a pretty long like dating hiatus, like for like 5 years, like during and then kind of like post pandemic. And I think like prior to that, I would say like I kind of like had like I tended to date more like masculine presenting women, or just like I think I tended to like play a little more of like the feminine role, like even if it wasn't like a straight like butch femme relationship. And I will say like I don't think that is still the case. Like I very much like kind of like feel myself attracted to like many different like gender presentations like across the gender spectrum, but still think there's like that little thing in my brain. It's like you can't she's not gonna not you can't like her, it's she's not gonna like you. You have long hair.
Oh,
She has long hair
wow.
and you have long hair,
Yeah.
and she is not gonna want to sleep with you. Like
Oh my gosh. See, I would call myself femme, and I am like pretty much not exclusively but mostly attracted to other femmes. So I feel like that's a really interesting thing, but have you felt like you've been able to kind of move past it a little bit?
I think so. I don't know. I feel like we're living in a post Chapel Roan world in terms of like
Yes.
femme sapphic visibility.
I don't know if it was Glee or what. Like, I feel like there was so I compare it when I was in high school versus when my sister was, and we are only 6 years apart. But when I was in high school, there was one out gay man, and that was the only person that was out.
Yep.
6 years later, almost all of all of my sisters and her friends were like, yeah, I'm like figuring out my sexuality. And that was a very open topic. So it's really interesting how much changed over just like half a decade. And I
Totally.
think maybe that was the media that was coming out at the time that was more visible, like Glee or whatever it was.
And like, yeah, and Brittany, I think that's the thing. Brittany and Santana, I kind of fell off of Glee before that plot line happened. So
Oh
I feel
my
like
gosh.
if I had just kept watching Glee, maybe I wouldn't have all this internalized femphobia.
Yes, exactly. Ryan Murphy would have done one good thing and cured your femphobia.
Absolutely. Well, like since you've realized your queerness, has there ever been a time where you've kind of like questioned like what to identify as, or questioned like how you describe your sexuality?
Yeah, that's a good question. So, I mean, I also grew up Catholic. I'm not religious anymore. So I think a lot of me growing up was me actually feeling a lot of sexual feelings, but feeling ashamed of them. And so I was wrestling with that a lot growing up. You know, there was like, we're not going to have sex before marriage. And then I had my first long-term boyfriend that I really wanted to have sex with. And I was like, well, it's probably okay because we're in a committed relationship. And then at a certain point, I was like, I kind of want to have sex outside of a committed relationship. And so that was one thing I was wrestling with. And so once I got through that, then I kind of got to face my sexuality a bit more. And so it actually wasn't until like a 5-year long relationship that was partially in college and then the 3 years after college that I actually got to fully explore my identity. And I think I knew during that time, like especially after coming to Los Angeles and meeting a lot more queer people, I was like, oh yeah, like this feels right. So that part didn't feel like something I had to repress, but it felt like something that I did come naturally to. And then once I was single again, I was able to explore that in Los Angeles. Although it was at first during the pandemic, so that wasn't the best time to explore your sexuality.
Totally. But I think also, I think everyone like took time and like figured stuff out about themselves like during lockdown time, but I think it was a common thing for people to be like, wait a second, am I
Yeah.
like there was just time for reflection in ways that I think like led to a lot of people being like, wait a second, I maybe have to look a little closer at this.
Yes, exactly. Like, there's something here that I should dig into.
Yeah. Well, what role does sexuality play in your life?
I mean, I definitely in how I style myself. I guess that's more gender expression than sexuality, but I like to kind of like play with like the femme and mask, and I have found a lot of female friends specifically and some male friends that also identify as bi, and that definitely feels like an extra like thing to bond over with people. So I feel like that is really helpful in just like having that shared community. Yeah, I guess it's just, especially watching TV, you more representation now, can see more of myself. Shout out Ava Daniels from Hacks.
Yay. Do you have any like bi pieces of content or like bi media that you like?
Oh my god. Okay, so I just name dropped Ava Daniels. I love the quote where she's like talking to her ex girlfriend, kind of bragging, and she's like trying to like put on a front, and she's like, yeah, I have a boyfriend and a girlfriend now, super bi. So I think that is my favorite piece of bi media.
So fun. Well, I think it has come time to play a very silly game. It is time to play Gay, Straight, Bi.
Gay, straight, bi.
We've been talking about the nuances of gender and sexuality and, how things can be fluid. And now it's time to put things into very rigid categories.
Okay. All right. Let's do it.
So we are going to do 2 rounds. And these are today our Gay Straight Bi is going to be Powerpuff Girl themed. This is an audio medium, not a visual medium. So for those of you listening at home, Josh, Jenna, and I decided that our outfits were semi Powerpuff Girl adjacent. So our 2 rounds of Gay Straight Bi are going to be Powerpuff Girl themed. So the first round we'll do Gay Straight Bi, Blossom, Bubbles, and Buttercup.
Amazing. Okay. So Buttercup, I'm going to have to say gay. I feel like I distinctly remember scenes where she was actively disgusted by men at all times. And I can't imagine her kissing a boy and liking it. So I think that is Buttercup. The straight and bi is going to be a little bit tougher. I'm trying to think. I feel like since I identify as a Blossom, I'm going to give her bisexual because I feel like she could go both ways. Like she has fun. She's the leader, but I feel like she would be able to have that flexibility in her sexuality, and I feel like Bubbles is maybe the most straight coded. I feel like she kind of go like boy crazy. So
Totally.
that's my take.
I love it. Yeah, Bubbles feels like a really good ally. She feels like
Yes.
the straight friend at Pride who's like decked out in rainbows, like is like buying everyone shots, like love,
Yes.
like yeah. She just like is so happy to be there and loves everybody, but also like loves everybody, but not in that way. Is very like, oh my god, I love the gays, and also I am straight.
Yes.
Or like loves to like talk boys with the gay men. Like loves to
Yes.
like
Oh, yes, that is totally where I would see Bubbles. I think that's spot on. Very strong ally and like bestie with all the gay men.
I love that. Okay. And then for our villain round, we'll do him, the Gangrene Gang, and Mojo Jojo. Gay straight bi.
Okay. Oh man, this is fun. Him, I'm going to obviously go with gay. Him is a queer and trans icon.
Yeah.
So that one's easy. I think Gangrene Gang, there's like a sleaziness to them, and I just like, sorry to the straights out there, but I do think that that sleaziness is a little bit straight coded. I'm an ally to the straights. I don't think you guys are all sleazy, but there's something about that. And then Mojo Jojo is bi. Come on.
Ooh.
Like
I love it.
Like he can go both ways. He knows what's up.
Incredible. Yeah, I think I mostly agree. I think Bubbles straight, blossom, bi, buttercup, gay feels right to me. With the villains, I feel like, I don't know. For me, it's like him is like gender queer, fluid, I think is giving a little more like bi to me of just like, listen,
Okay.
I'm seducing everybody. Everybody's getting seduced.
I'm behind that. I'm behind that. So, but then are you making Mojo Jojo gay or the Gangrene Gang gay?
Here's the thing. I think, because I agree with the like a little bit of the sleaze and the grime, but like to me that's like a lesbian with a mullet, you know? Like there's something there's something kind of about the like, because they're not really a biker gang, but they're like there's something kind of like lesbian about them to me. And it's like the queer, like a he him lesbian group, you know? Like there's something kind of like about that. And then I think Mojo Jojo's just like gay icon, just, you know, he's there, he's got the jock strap on.
Wait, but if the Gangrene Gang is gay, then Mojo Jojo has to be straight.
Oh, no.
But no, I don't think anyone's straight. I think Powerpuff Girls is inherently queer.
Absolutely. Just a single dad who works 2 jobs, loves his kids.
The professor would be straight, I would think. But he's the only, everyone else in that entire show is queer, except for the professor.
Also, bisexual awakening, I don't remember her name, but the secretary.
Oh my, Miss Sarah Bellum.
Yep. Who doesn't have a head.
Yeah.
Literal.
And then the mayor. Literal objectification of women.
Yeah.
But at least her name was about the brain.
Totally. And also she's clearly the smarter one. It's like, it's stuff like that where it's just like, this is clearly objectification and like clearly demeaning, but just like as a kid, I'm just like, no, but she's actually very smart. You don't,
exactly.
It's like, you don't understand. I don't know. I think like there's a little bit of like a Legally Blonde thing going on. It's like, actually, you're sexist for thinking that she's dumb and a bimbo. It's like
actually her brain is too big for the shot. She's just so smart it wouldn't fit.
Exactly. Yeah. But again, it's like that kind of stuff. It's like the mental gymnastics we have to do. And what if we just didn't have to do those mental gymnastics? But then, you know, the world would be different. We're not living in that world. We wouldn't be able
to play gay, straight, bi with Powerpuff Girls if that was
Exactly.
the world we lived in.
So true. Well, last question. Is there anything you want to plug, or where can people find you?
Yeah, I'm Jenna Isn't Famous. On Instagram is like the main place where I'm active. A lot of music posted on the reels and a lot of political stuff posted on my stories. And Spotify, Apple Music, wherever you go to listen to music is where you can check out my songs. And yeah, I think that's about it.
Yay, awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming by.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. This was a blast.
She Comes By is part of the Industry Plant Podcast Network. It's hosted by me, Alex Mannix, and edited and executive produced by Josh Stretton Carlson. If you're interested in more bisexual content, check out the She Comes By Weekly newsletter at shecomesbyweekly.substack.com. That's shecomesbyweekly.substack.com.